What's up, everybody, and welcome to another summer episode of Morning Cup of Hockey presented by Bet365. That's Colby Cohen. I'm Johnny Lazarus, and we are almost there. It's been a really quick summer, but it feels like it's long. It's being dragged out now. Like, I just want hockey to be here. I am getting bored. I will say, though, Colby, there's nothing better than U.S. Open week. We're both big tennis guys. Love the U.S. Open. Been watching tennis all day for the past 2 days. Don't want to dive into that necessarily too deeply, but I do know we have some tennis fans that listen to our show, so I just wanted to note that. But we do have Derek Stepan coming on the show, and honestly, pretty soon off the hop here. One of my favorite players growing up, so I'm probably just going to be a huge fan the entire interview, and it's going to be the 18.
Oh wow, one of your favorite players growing up?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Are you being sarcastic? I can't tell.
No, I'm being serious. Like I knew you liked him because he was a Ranger, but I didn't know he was one of your favorite players. And yes, Vic, the answer to your question that you're asking me right now is yes, but that's okay.
Yeah, and Colby, off the hop, you can ask him too. I met Derek. You know how you talk about my travel issues on this show? I was taking a 6 a.m. flight from St. Louis to Minnesota, and I saw Derek Stepan, and I walked up to him and introduced myself and spoke to him for about 30 minutes, which is probably everyone else's biggest nightmare, is someone recognizing them and talking to them on a 6 a.m. flight. But I sure as hell did it. So off the hop, you can make fun of me and ask him about that if you'd like to. But yeah, Stepan, McDonough, and Kreider, those three were the first three Ranger players I knew prior to their pro career, because I had watched the World Juniors from 2009, 2010, those couple of years, and that's when I became familiar with those three players. So I knew who they were when they made their Ranger debut, and that's the first, or those are the first guys that I can really say that about, I think, in my lifetime. So it was a different attachment for me as a fan, which I probably will ask Derek about. But awesome guy, was super nice to me in the airport that day. What's the latest with you, man? I haven't talked to you, I feel like, all weekend.
Well, before he comes on, I feel like we should jump into a couple of talking points about the National Hockey League right now, a couple of contract signings, and it's the insane people about the Patrick Kane Keller conversation. And I think it irks me when somebody watches a clip on our show, which Vic purposefully makes sure the way that he clips our stuff is always out of context. And you never really hear the full conversation.
That's what clips are for.
I get it. But if you're going to give me if I'm going to wake up to 21 mentions of you having a conversation or argument with yourself in my mentions, at least educate yourself on the show. Go listen to the entire conversation. It's this guy had a fucking meltdown in my mentions over Patrick Kane. And again, there is no Patrick Kane hate on this show. Patrick Kane, I said, this is a Mount Rushmore level player. So I think it is one of my pet peeves when people, their panties get all twisted up and they don't even, they have no idea what we're even talking about other than the 40-second clip that Vic the Assassin puts on social media to make everybody super emotional.
It's much more fun when we can talk about it the next day when we're live.
Oh, it's way better. It's also because then you can also tell people come to our chat.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to quickly touch on before Derek comes on the show, last week we talked about handing out a big contract, a 7-year deal before you've played more than a season in the NHL. Who were we talking about last show? Now I'm drawing a blank.
Jackson Blake. I think it was 2 shows ago. It was Jackson Blake.
No, I thought there was somebody after Jackson Blake. No,
Luke Hughes, maybe Luke Hughes.
No, Luke Hughes hasn't signed yet.
I know.
No, we were talking about somebody else that just maybe got a 7 or 8 year deal that has only played 1 season. I thought it was someone other than Jackson Blake, but okay, Jackson Blake. Well, now Frank Nazar gets a deal after 56 games. And I was surprised. And I think that this player has clearly shown real potential. Mm-hmm. I was just surprised to see him get paid like that. He only played half the season in the NHL last year, 3/4 of a season.
Yeah.
He started in Rockford. And granted, he had a great World Championships. I just I was a little surprised to see him get that type of deal with that small body work. Now, listen, I've said before, like I think that I think Kyle Davidson's a smart guy. And I think that, he's obviously seen enough, and he's banking on the fact that that deal ages really well for his team. But
it's an investment.
I'm curious, like, we should ask. Listen, Derek played, I think he played around 900 regular season games, something in that ballpark.
Derek is if you include playoff games, he got us 1,000 games, and I know you're going to say it off the bat.
Yeah, well, because it's, again, stupid. The guy played 1,000 games in the NHL. We're not even going to pretend like he didn't. But, I want to ask him, you're a guy who's played in this league as long as any of us can remember. And what is your feeling on a guy who gets 56 games, who gets like an 8-year, $40-50 million contract right off the hop? Like, I'm curious. I'll let you start the interview, Johnny, because I know we're talking we're talking to like a guy that like you just want to be best friends with, and like he's a Ranger, and like you're probably going to creep him out. But I do want to ask him that at some point. So at some point, you got to give me an opportunity to ask him that question. Okay.
I got you.
Okay. I'll just sit back now and let you do your thing.
Derek is the perfect candidate for our sponsor, Proraso. So with that, going to give a quick shout out to them, the most complete choice for shaving and beard care, made in Italy since 1948. Proraso has been a staple of Italian culture and barbershops globally for 4 generations. So get 15% off at Proraso-USA.com with our promo code Hockey15 in all caps, Hockey15. And with that, let's bring on Derek Stepan. Derek, what's going on? That beard is fucking long, dude.
I'm leading up to training camp. I switch it now. So now I work. So now at training camp, I let her go.
It looks good. It looks good. I was telling Colby before you hopped on here, though, because Colby actually always makes fun of me. I'm like the worst traveler in the world. And I told him how I met you. It was like a 6 a.m. flight from St. Louis to Minnesota. And I had no problem approaching you and telling you that you were one of my favorite players. And I'm sure for you, that's probably the most annoying fucking thing on the planet that somebody could do to you, is approach you at 6 a.m. and try to spark up a conversation.
Well, just so we're fair, I think I recognized you first.
Really?
So if you remember correctly, I was like, yeah, I'm a big fan. And
you said that?
Yeah. And you were like, no way. You must have been foggy. You were like, no
I
way.
was.
I was like, yeah, I've seen your stuff. Like, I think you do great work. And you were like, then you started geeking out about the Rangers stuff.
He can't.
Sounds about right.
He can't help himself. I mean, listen, I try to tell him, when you're in the locker room and you're getting sound, don't sit in the guy's stalls. Just try to control yourself and have a slight amount of professionalism. But you know what? Lost cause, man. I've stopped trying to help the child with his etiquette.
Did you guys ever cross paths, by the way?
We would have had to have at some point. I think maybe World Juniors one year we might have been in camp together. Maybe what are you, a 90 birth year? I'm an 89.
Yeah, I didn't go to the year above me. I only got invited to my last year.
So well, I got cut plenty from that team. So it's tryout camp. That's where I did my best work. So it's okay. But I'm sure
it was a one and done tryout, made the team. Other than that, I didn't get any underage cracks.
So you weren't, I guess, so you would have been a year behind us, right? So you weren't like the McDonough. You would have been came 1 year after.
Yep. So Mac was a freshman in college and I was a senior in high school. So.
Okay.
I'm actually happy we're there, though, because I did want to start there, Colby. I know you want to talk about the contracts being handed out, but every year when that video of like, oh, mama, don't you cry, when that resurfaces, like that's Stepan singing. Like, I know that, right? Like, I don't know if everyone knows that, because it happens every year, World Juniors. Like, that team, and I was saying it before, you, McDonough, and Kreider, like, for me as a Ranger fan, you're the first guys that I knew before you became a Ranger. Like, that's why I have that attachment to you guys, because I'm a 96. So, like, when you guys won that World Junior, I was 14 years old. Like, I didn't even know what the World Juniors was. So
not to fact check you, the guy screaming is Dan Cristo.
Oh, okay.
That went to North Dakota.
Love Danny Cristo. Mm-hmm. He's a beauty. Still keep in touch with him. In touch with him.
But Danny Cristo was the one screaming there. But I tell you what.
You were the captain, though, no?
Yeah, it was a really it was a big moment in my career. First of all, like from a personal standpoint, it was kind of the coming out party for me. I was having a decent year at Wisconsin. I was having a good year at Wisconsin up to that point. But this is what
54 points with inflation in today's college game. That's like 71 points. FYI.
We had a special power play unit in our we were teetering 1 and 2 that whole year as #1 team in the NCAA. And that tournament though was the one that kind of, when the pro scouts were all there in under one roof, is when it was a really special moment for me.
Was that the year of the power play? Was that your freshman year or your sophomore year?
My year of the power play was my sophomore year.
Okay. Okay. Who's on that? Like Smitty, like who?
Yeah. So Smitty was the one-timer, the left.
Craig Smith. Smith.
Nope, Brendan Smith.
Brendan Smith.
Oh, no way.
Shout out to him. That's my boy.
Love him too. Great.
Really happy for him that he's getting another kick in Columbus, and I know Dean. He's gonna win him over so easy. It's gonna be great. It's a good fit. Columbus Blue Jacket fans, you got a good one there. Smitty was on the far side. That year, Justin Schultz was the quarterback up top.
Everything he shot went in. Everything.
He was really good. He was a freshman that year, and then Blake Jeffreyon won the Hobie Baker that year. He was kind of the net front bumper.
Islander prospect, right? He was an Islander.
Montreal.
Did BG did he win the Hobie that year? Was that the year he won the Hobie?
Yep, that was the year he won the Hobie. And then the guy that nobody really knows, St. Louis product, Mike Davies. This guy was one of the most skilled guys.
Was he Lincoln Star? Was he a USHL guy, right?
Yeah.
Davies. I remember that name.
He went over and played in Germany a little bit. Super skilled guy. But yeah, he was kind of me and him were the righties that kind of switched from the goal line and the half wall. And that was in the old days where we did like the kind of like the cycle type thing. And Blake was the guy that kind of bumped up and down. But yeah, it was a good power play unit.
I did want to ask though, like, obviously everyone knows the finish, the John Carlson, the overtime goal, but that was the game where Eberle scored the 2 goals, right? In like the last minute. Like, as you guys are, 18, 19, 20 years old in Canada, crazy building. What the hell was going on in the locker room before overtime? Because no one talks about that. We all know the win and the celebration, but no one really knows, I feel like, what happened before.
There's a lot. The thing I tell everybody is it went from one of the loudest buildings, like for sure up to that point that I had ever been in. And now I played after that and played in Montreal in the Eastern Conference Finals. That building was insane. The MSG Stanley Cup Finals beat like unbeatable. Like that building was outrageous. And I got to play regular season games there, and those buildings got loud and rowdy. But up to that point, I had never been in a louder building, and we were in the locker room, and you could still hear the fans cheering in Canada. Like it was so loud. And then John Carlson scores, and you could have heard a mouse fart. It was one of the quietest buildings I had ever been in my entire life, and that is the only way I can really explain everything that went on. There was other stuff that went on, but that's the best way to explain it. It was loud, it was chaotic to like quiet. Like,
yeah. Who coached that team? Was it Heinze?
No, it was Dean Blaze. He was the UNO coach for a chunk of change.
North Dakota legend, right?
And the assistant coaches were Mark Osiki, who I had at Wisconsin, and then
beauty.
Coach Tom Ward, who I had at Shattuck.
And then obviously Osiki had round 2, right, with Tony Granato and those guys at Wisconsin, and obviously they moved on from that staff. But I mean, Tony and Osiki, I mean, those guys are like all world type of guys. I mean, Osiki is one of the better D coaches I've ever been around or I've ever seen. I don't know if you had a good experience with him, but I've always been pretty impressed with him.
So my the 6 defensemen we had at Wisconsin when I was there, Jamie McBain, my freshman year, who signed, was a second rounder. And then my sophomore year was Jake Gardner, first rounder, Justin Schultz, second rounder, Cody Golubov, second rounder, Brendan Smith, first rounder, Ryan McDonough, first rounder. I mean,
is Cody still playing hockey? I feel like he is.
He might be. It wouldn't surprise me. I know that So after I left Ottawa in the COVID season, he signed with Belleville, and he was playing with Belleville for that. The last year probably would have been like 2023, maybe. He was playing with Belleville, where he was playing. He might have played. He was kind of living at home and playing in Belleville. You have to look it up, but he played. He was still kicking, when I was in Carolina.
Well, and he played in the Olympics. Yeah, listen, he played a couple of years in Switzerland. He didn't play in 23-24. And then in 24-25, it says he played for the Dundas Real McCoys in the ACH. I don't know what that is. ACH looks like some Canadian.
That could be like the senior, the senior thing.
No? I got to tell you, people like that guy was a good hockey player, man. I mean, that's a ridiculous team, by the way. I mean, that is a ridiculous group of college players that all went on to have very successful runs in the National Hockey League. I mean, Blake Jeffrey he's probably still playing if he doesn't run into the issue that he ran into.
Yeah.
But those are some names that are big blast, because I was in 89. And so like a lot of those guys, even Jamie McBain was at the national team. People don't realize how skilled he was. I mean, that guy was just oozing with skill. I know he didn't have a big NHL career, but he played. He definitely played.
My son goes to, so Bernie McBain started this Minnesota youth program. It's called Minnesota Made. And I mean, if Jamie went through this regimen, I can see where he gets the skill, because these kids are like, they put him through it. So yeah, he was a good player. And our D-corps didn't really change a whole lot other than him from my freshman to sophomore year. So we lost him, and we brought in Justin Schultz, and then John Ramage was the other second round.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
how'd you end up at Wisconsin? It's not totally normal when you're from Minnesota to go to Wisconsin, right?
Probably told the story a million times.
All
right. Don't worry about it. If everybody knows the story, I feel bad if that's an easy.
I mean, so we didn't get an NHL team till I got a little bit older. So the Wild came in 2000, right? 1999, maybe somewhere in there. So I grew up watching the Gophers quite a bit Friday, Saturday night. Obviously would have loved to have been a Gopher. And when I got to age of like doing the recruiting class, the Gophers had filled up their recruiting class. They were stuffed. Like Don Lucia was like, I don't have any spots for you. So it just wasn't even, they weren't even recruiting really. So we ended up going on a visit to Wisconsin, and I didn't need to see anything else. I was like, I'm good. I'll go here. This is a
Madison's
good fit.
unbelievable.
I don't really need to see anything else. This is perfect for me. So it was a good fit.
Are you still involved with the program at all? Like, do you, ever like visit the school or anything like that? Because you're not too far away, right?
Yeah. So I'm 4.5 hours from them. No, the answer is not. I'm not. I did go down my first year retired. I went down and dropped a puck.
That's cool.
And then I got to hang out with the new group. But no, I'm not.
All right. Well, no, I was curious about like the college stuff now too, when you see it. I mean, Colby wants to ask you about the contracts and everything, but as a guy who played college, who probably could have went back for a junior year, right? You signed right before a junior year because the Rangers, obviously wanted to get young at that time. But would it have been a tough decision for you to make right now, like signing pro with everything that's available in college hockey right now?
No. Here's the thing.
Well, you're a different story because you played first line your first year, I think. So maybe
here's the thing on it is listen, college hockey is amazing, and these kids have an incredible setup, and it's even better than I had an incredible setup. And this was years ago, and facilities are great. You got treated great. We didn't get paid, essentially my scholarship helped me pay for rent and gave me some food, and we'd get, food vouchers. I got paid enough. And ultimately, I think any kid that goes to college should understand that the ultimate goal is to play in the NHL, and so for me, I was there for 2 years, and the Rangers kind of said, why don't you go back for another year? And then I think they made the decision, actually, let's get younger. Will you come out? It was a no-brainer. Like, yep, I'm ready to go. If you want me, I'm ready to go. And if you think I'm ready for it, I'm ready to go. So, yeah, I think even now, if it was that case, and it doesn't really matter the money. It was about, a team wants you. I don't really know how you not make that decision to leave college.
If you look, Johnny, at his, whatever hockey DB elite prospects, whatever you want to look at, you'll notice something glaring.
That uptick in points from freshman to sophomore year.
There's no AHL stats for Derek, and so when you have that opportunity, I don't think you look back and regret. I think you want to know people who regret leaving early. You ask guys who were career American leaguers. You ask someone like me. You ask then that's where the regrets generally come into place. Not when there's a goose egg next to your or you don't even have an AHL column on your history page about you. So I could understand where you're coming from with that one. I mean, obviously you make that jump right away. What would you say going back, making that jump, because the league is so young? We were just talking about Frank Nazar getting an 8-year, 45 to $50 million deal, having played 50 games. What do you tell these young kids that are coming into the league? Because obviously you work, in Minnesota and you're involved now, probably helping out a lot of these young guys and lending your experience. What do you tell these kids that are looking to go? Because most of them got to be patient. You didn't have to be patient.
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing is I think that there's a little bit of a misconception that you play your college career or your CHL career, and all that stuff carries over to when you sign your pro contract. Ultimately, what happens is all that work you did in college hockey or in the CHL got you a spot on the race, on the line. So when camp starts, you all start at the same spot. It doesn't matter if you had 120 points in the CHL or 50 points in college hockey. You're starting fresh, and you got a coach that is looking at younger guys being like, which ones do I like better? They don't really look at how many points he ran. They look at how does he go through pro camp. And I think, for me, I got an opportunity and I took advantage of it. I played extremely well at Traverse City. I got on the radar. I played all 7 preseason games my rookie year. That was, played all 7 of them.
That's a bag.
And it was actually good though, because I was just learning more and more and getting more in the rhythm and understanding, hey, you don't have time and you don't have space, and you could feel the difference between the elites and the knots. It's like, whoa, okay, when they take a face-off against, I think maybe that year we played the Islanders, I think I might have played John Tavares in a preseason game, and it's like, whoa, okay, that guy is different than some of the guys I've played against. So, I got an advantage of getting some bonus hockey. The 6 games in Traverse City, the 7 games. I had 13 games before game 1 in Buffalo. So
he's so humble. He's not going to mention his hat trick in his first NHL game.
Listen, I got to take advantage of it. The funny story is I am absolutely petrified of Tort, right? I'm a young kid scared of this man. And he comes up to me after that game and he looks me straight in the eyes. He's like, well, you bought yourself 20 games.
Yeah.
But that is the most honest thing any coach probably ever said to you.
And he was, he said other stuff too, but I'll never forget that. He's like, well, you bought yourself a little bit of time.
Listen, you get 1 goal, you probably buy yourself 3 games in your first NHL game. And then once you can start going downhill from there, they'll find a way to get you back to the American League. But 3, I mean, there's some good names out on the ice for some of these shifts too. I mean, I see Sean Avery right away. It's like, oh God, gotta hear some Sean Avery stories, right? But
watch this pass from Aves in this last one.
Yeah, the one behind the net.
Oh, unreal.
I mean, I think that
one coming right here, Colby. Watch this pass.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the first things you realize is everybody can make plays. There's just nobody that can't make a play at that level, and it's almost sometimes easier because of that.
For sure. I think there's a combination of it. I think guys that, think the game fast enough definitely have more.
Look at
Look at
that young man right there.
That's sick.
For those of you who are audio only in the summer, we're usually live during the season, Derek, but Vic has just pulled up a picture of Derek and he looks every bit of 21 years old. He certainly doesn't look like the Viking that is on our screen right now.
All the hair just like dropped from my head down to my face.
You traded goals, hair for goals. Hey, you know what? I think that's a pretty good trade.
That's a trade. I'll take that trade all day long.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta ask though, Derek, like that game, I assume, you're asked about a lot, right? There's a lot of big games you played and a lot of big moments you had. If there's one game like from your career that you could relive, can't change the outcome, is it that game? I mean, I gotta imagine that's like one game where everything goes your way, right? Like that's your first game.
Yeah, for sure. And it's up there, but I don't know. I mean, that's in Buffalo, scoring a Game 7 winner in overtime at MSG.
I was at that one. I was there. I was so sick.
That's pretty. I'm lucky enough to have a couple of them, but I don't know if this one can be beat right here. This was pretty loud building, and I was talking to somebody the other day because it's 100 years for the Rangers, and someone was doing an interview and they asked me about it, and I the cool thing isn't me scoring the goal. The cool thing is when I go back to New York, the amount of people that know exactly where they were or exactly what they were doing, like that's stuff that you can't explain to people how cool that is to feel that someone knew something about your life and they knew exactly where they were, how important it was to their life. That is the whole reason why we put on our skates and play for as many years, to have moments like that.
I spent all the money that I had saved to go to that game, so thank you for that. You gave me a lifetime memory. Yeah,
thank you. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. I get the chills when people, they get to talk about stuff like that, and I was a part of one of their core memories. And you might be at Christmas one day with your family and tell your son that you were at that game and how much money you had to spend, and then you got to interview. Like, that's not many people get to experience that.
No, trust me, I'm hiding all the inner, I guess, like 18-year-old boner that I would have had right now talking to you. But I don't want to like make this all Rangers. Like, there is a lot. I didn't even know, by the way, that you played. I forgot that you played for the Senators until like looking at your stats today. Like, that was such a, like, I feel like lost part of your career, maybe because it was only like a short amount of time, right? Like 20 games, 25 games.
Well, it was the COVID season, right? And so it was the Canadian division, and it was just a tough division to play in. All those teams, like most of the divisions were, travel oriented. The Canadian division was Canada. So like we would go on the road for 2 weeks at a time, going to play Vancouver, Edmonton, and Calgary. So it was just a tough time to really be a hockey fan, to be completely honest. Just weird divisions, no fans in the buildings. Like, I remember watching games being like, what are we doing? Like, this is crazy. Like, there's nobody in this building. So it was a weird time to be a hockey fan. It was a weird time. My wife gave birth December 30th. I think I shipped out January 2nd.
Jeez, dude. So first kid?
Third.
Okay.
Third. So, and, I wasn't going to bring my family up there with the COVID quarantine rules, and they were in Scottsdale, and Scottsdale was pretty much open. Like,
you can't make them leave Scottsdale for Ottawa.
No, so I was like, you stay here, and I live with Braden Coburn and the dad pad, and
he was a machine, huh?
Yeah, he left his family in Tampa. Mine was in Arizona, and we were like these two old guys on a young talented team. It was really cool.
I spent some time training with him when he was a Flyer, and we would have been like college, maybe young college, in that range. And I just remember, man, that guy was like an absolute fitness machine. Like, we would do like the workout, the conditioning, the skate, like, and then like, how those days are in the summer, like they're long. It's, when you get into the meat of your off-season training, like it's a 4 or 5 hour process to do everything, right? When you start skating, and then he'd go work out again, and we'd be like, And then you're like, oh, well, no wonder this guy can play in his prime, he was playing huge minutes in Philly and he was taking hard matchups and like he never breathed heavy. Like he was an absolute fitness freak. And, he was never a dazzling player, but like, I bet you if you talk to all the GMs that brought him in or coaches that he played for, like I bet a lot of coaches like would say, yeah, he was one of my most reliable guys in all areas. Like kind of another name that I feel like a lot of people probably don't give the credit and respect to as a hockey player. I don't know how many games he ended up playing in his career, but he was a machine.
He was just short of 1,000. And
oh, wow.
I don't want to air out laundry, but he was close. Like he should. Yeah. I was one guy that I wish that could have got there for sure. Like he was right there on the cusp. He won in Tampa and he waived his no move to go up to Ottawa and, just didn't get to 1,000, which is, a sad story. It's not right.
I don't like, and I say this on every show, it seems to come up with a lot of our guests. Like, I think not having playoff games be part of your 1,000 games is fucking stupid. I just think it's ridiculous because playoff games, if anything, should count as more. Like one playoff game is like the equivalent of multiple regular season games. So I think that's flawed and ridiculous. And I can't think of one good reason why that doesn't count. I really can't. Like, I would love for someone to make an argument to me and tell me why playoff games don't count. Like, obviously I get preseason games like that. I get, otherwise, like, I'd have a full pension at this point, but playoff games, like, I just can't, I don't understand that. It does not make sense to me.
You should be in the negotiations in the next CBA because it's a conversation that happens a lot. And what it comes down to is just dollars. It's the teams that don't make the playoffs. It's games played that's equal to guys that teams do make the playoffs. It's hard to, it's silly, and a game played is a game played, and playoffs. I'm with you on it. It's just.
I'll tell Chatty he'll be a part of the next negotiation, and I'll make sure I tell him that is my issue that I want on the docket.
Pat too. Pat Maroon would have 1,000 if it were, if playoffs were included. Like,
NHL have to ship out a lot of silver sticks if they.
You know what? Ship the fucking sticks out. All right, let's like open up a silver making plant and ship the goddamn sticks. Like, give me a fucking break.
I know my address. I'll make sure the NHL gets one to my door.
You'll be high on my list of people I'm grievancing for.
I like it.
If that's even a word.
Well, Derek, just to reel it back in a little bit to guys who don't get the credit they deserve, and I'm sure you work with him now. I mean, your title is player development coach, right? Like that's what you're doing in Minnesota.
Yep.
I'm sure you're mostly with the young guys, but we understand in New York. I'm sure Wild fans get it a little bit now too, but I don't know if the whole, where I'm going. I don't know if the whole hockey fan, the typical fan, understands how good this guy is. But Matt Zuccarello, I mean, you had a close-up look as a player. You have a close-up look now. Like, what can you say about this guy? Because, I've heard a lot of your former teammates say if he doesn't get hurt in 2015, right, like he missed some time in that run, like who knows, like if that's different.
Well, Zuki, like, here's the thing. He is, first of all, he is elite skill, like crazy skill. His passing is probably, I don't want to discredit anybody around the league. He's up there in the top tier. Like he passes at an elite level. He's got a sneaky shot. Doesn't use it ever.
Never. Never.
But he's just so smart, and he'll be able to play as long as his body can hold up because he's so smart and he's so elite in those departments. And listen, he takes care of himself really well. He's just good. He's just really good. And then he's has this element too that most people don't really understand is he's a great teammate, but he's also like he keeps the room light, but he also calls people on their stuff. Like he's not afraid to like if something happens, he's not afraid to make people uncomfortable. Like I'll tell a story, and the guy, he was a young guy at the time. I won't say his name, and
if I guess it right, will you tell me?
Come on, what do you mean you're not going to say his name? Air it out. Let's go here. We're all friends.
We're in New York, and he blocks a shot, and he's like down on the ice, and he's limping back to the bench, and I'm sitting next to Zook because me and Zook were line mates at the time, and the guy gets to the bench, and he's kind of kneels himself into the bench, and we're trying to shut the door behind him, and all of a sudden I just hear Zuki over my shoulder. He goes, "Hey, did you block that one?" And he got and it's even funnier because the guy got so mad because of the theatrics that he did.
Who was it, Johnny?
I'm trying to think. I mean, he was there for 7 years. It could have been any young guy.
He was a young guy at the time.
I'm guessing a guy who never really blocked shots, who accidentally got hit with one.
He actually does quite a bit.
Was it hate? It couldn't have been Hazy. Those guys were best buddies.
Wasn't Hazy.
Oh, this is going to cliffhang us now.
Guy's still playing.
He's still playing?
Yeah.
For who? Can you give us who?
Can you give me the year this happened, if you remember?
Oh, God. The guy was wearing, I shouldn't even say the number because it was a rookie number. You might get it with that. I think he was wearing 47 at the time.
Wasn't he? Oh, JT Miller. Yeah.
Oh, come on. I love it.
And if there was one young guy that handled taking shit from the older guys, I don't even know if I can swear on.
You can.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
If there's one guy that could handle it, it was JT, and he was great
at
it. And he came in and gave it back. But when he blocked that shot, and he leaned over and said, "Hey, JT, did you get that one?" He was so mad at him, like it was. And then that's Zuki.
Well,
and Zuki just he pushes guys, he makes it light, he makes it fun, and then he's good at what he does. So he's a special player.
Zuccarello's the one that set JT Miller on the warpath for the rest of his career, basically, is what you're saying.
Well,
we all might have had our fingers in it, but JT, he was good. He loved it.
That much young. He's not that much younger than like you and I.
Colby, Derek. Or one second, Jans told us a story about how I think him and Kevin Hayes stole JT's car during exit meetings. Like Yandel told us that story on this show too. So you guys fucked with JT Miller all the time, it sounds like.
Yeah, and JT, he gave it back too. Like he was, for a young guy, he was great about it. That was kind of the way it was. I mean, that we had such a good group of guys. Like when I was young, I got it too. It was just like Dan Girardi, Mark Stahl, Ryan Callahan, these guys, like it was like war walking into a practice morning after a night. Like if you played great, if you played horrible, you didn't know what you were going to get when you walked into that locker room. You just hoped you weren't under the microscope. And if you weren't under the microscope, you got on the other side of it and you started berating the guy. It was just whoever was under the scope got underneath the scope.
How many years did you play for Torts?
So it was
probably 4.
3 seasons with Torts.
So let me ask you this. As a 5-year-old now, like what's your opinion on Torts as far as like, do you appreciate him now, or like because it's like some guys just they love the guy, they loved playing for him, they felt like he was the only honest coach they ever had, even though maybe in the moment they didn't love it. Like what's your feeling on him? Because I'll tell you, just from an outsider's perspective, I go back and forth, and I feel like I couldn't have probably handled it well at 21, but at 36, I appreciate it more. And I say that a lot about Bruce Cassidy because I spent so much time playing for him. Yeah. And I feel like I wish I could have had the mindset and the ability to process like like I can now at 37 that I could at 20. Because he was tough. Like, he was really fucking brutal.
So, like, everyone always asks, who is your favorite coach in the NHL? Like, it's really hard because in your timelines, everything gets skewed and rotated and how you vision it and where you're at and how many minutes you're playing. But what I can tell you from Torts is I am a 1,000% Torts guy. Like, he helped me become the player I was. He challenged me when I needed it. He kicked me when I needed it. He rarely, not very much, would give out nice compliments when you needed it. But he was such a good motivator for a young guy. For an older guy, it was a little harder. Like, oh man, are we doing this again? Like, why are you up my ass right now? Like, we got another.
He killed Gabrick, right? He used to kill Gabrick, didn't he?
Oh, it was. Yeah, it was. There were some good ones there.
Yeah, it's hard to watch that.
Torts is awesome. I mean, and it was like there was at times it was a show. You'd come in and you didn't know what you were going to get from him. Like you had no idea. Like some mornings after the game, we'd lose a game and he'd be like, I thought we played great. We'll see you guys tomorrow at practice. And then we'd walk in and he'd be like, I watched the film, boys. We were awful. And then he would just start berating guys. He would just start like, you were terrible. I can't find you. You were just like, oh, I went to bed sleeping like, hey, we played pretty good. And then the next morning, it's like, there's some nights he'd come in, kicking trash cans, MFing guys. And he'd wake up and I was wrong. We weren't that bad. We were not that bad. So it's like, you never knew what you were going to get. But for me at that time, Torts was perfect. I still, I kept in touch with him my whole career because I think he's just you always knew where you stood with him. And I think that's, as I went through it in my own experience, it's not always the case. So,
my favorite Torch thing, we asked Brian Boyle about it on here too. Like, obviously everyone watched the HBO 24/7, but me and my dad, like when I was a young kid, like my dad cracked up at this part when Torch was like, Brian Boyle, we've done this D-zone coverage all year long. You got that fucking microphone on. You can't think straight. It's the best line ever.
It was, you guys, that wasn't the only time that he heard that. It was the rest of the year, our entire team. If he made a mistake on the bench, you just hear somebody from the middle of the bench. You got that fucking mic on. It was the Torch stories were, they were incredible. He was.
There's just nothing like being on a good team when everybody's like going at each other, but in like a fun way. Yeah, because you're winning and your team is playing well. So like when a guy does something, you kind of like, that's your way of saying I love you, is like you give him shit about it.
Yeah. We were winning. We didn't lose much in those years, and so it was good. I mean, he was. And listen, if you were the doghouse guy, I think there's a bunch of guys in this league that had Torts and were doghouse guys.
Yeah.
They'd probably tell you that, you know what? He's one of the worst coaches and worst human beings.
Yeah. I've heard that.
He's a fence guy. You get on one side of the fence, everyone on this side of the fence loves him. On the other side, there's other coaches that there's a little in between. There's just one fence with Torts. It's either you love him or you hate him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cam Atkinson loved him. Tony D, not so
loves him.
It's true. You never hear anybody that says, "Yeah, whatever, he was fine." No one ever says that about him. Yeah. So, and I can actually appreciate that. That's how people are with me. There's no in between with me. You love me, or you wouldn't give me a life raft if I was drowning, and I'm totally okay with that. I have no issues with that, Johnny.
And same with Torts. Torts is that way too. Like, hey, listen, he said some things too. Like he'd be like, take the message, not the tone. And I think some guys have a tough time with that. Like if he's yelling at me, he's not yelling at me because he's mad at me. He's in an intense moment. Now listen, when my years in New York, when it was Torts and Mike Sullivan on the bench. We didn't have four. Right now, every team has four. We just had the two Boston guys.
The two most fucking psychotic coaches ever.
It would be like the first shift, and I don't want to spoil this guy, but the first shift, it would be like turnover and scoring chance, and Henrik would make a 10-beller, and MSG's chanting Henrik. It's not even 2 minutes into the game. And Torts is, coaching the forwards, and Sully's got the D, and they're going back and forth. And Torts is like, Sully's like, should I switch to pairs and go to 4? And Torts is like, I don't keep the pairs, go to 4. And Stu Bickle's sitting on the bench, and he has not touched the ice yet. And he's like, wait, we're going to 4 already? Like, hey, we got the shift yet.
You told a good Stu Bickle. I heard you tell a Stu Bickle story. I forgot where.
It was the World Cup.
You know what I'm talking about?
So the World Cup. This is when Colin Kaepernick was kneeing during the national anthem.
Yes.
And it was right when we were like doing like our camp to, I think it was maybe it was like the summer camp, or maybe it was the pre-tournament. I don't remember exactly. It was definitely the summer camp when we played in Columbus, and we flew to Ottawa, and then we flew to Watt before the season started. And Torts like brought us in, and he's like, listen, nobody talk about it. We're not even going to give it anything. Like, we're Team USA. We're going to stand in the national anthem. Like, nobody talk about it. Like, let's not make it a thing. Nobody talk about it. sure enough, we get out, like he goes in and does media. Torts absolutely blows a gasket in the media, being like, if anybody kneels to the anthem, they can stay there the rest of the night because they ain't touching the ice. and so Stu Bickle tweeted at it was like the comment, and Stu Bickle tweeted at, he said, I often stood during the national anthem and I still didn't touch the ice.
I can't believe he tweeted that.
What did Torts say about that? Did anybody bring it up with him?
Well, I had to. I was like, Torts,
you showed him?
Oh, yeah. I was like, I knew you didn't have Twitter. I was like, Torts, you have to see this. I told Bixby I was going to do it too. I was like, he's like, yeah, I don't care if he sees it. And he laughed and sent him a message, and it was great. But he was unique, and he was a big part of my career, and I'm grateful that I had him when I had him.
Yeah, that's funny stuff. Derek, do you have time? I have I'm Colby. I need to do my Ranger stuff now. I have to just ask these questions.
All right, wait, what time
Let me ask him about the contract thing, and then you can fanboy out. Okay.
Yeah. So good compromise.
We're talking about the Frank Nazar contract, and listen, I've got to know him a little bit over the last couple of years. I was working in Chicago when we drafted him and everything like that. Yeah. So I kind of got to know him through the college stuff. Like I do the TV for that. So great guy. And like, you know what? It looks like he's going to be a hell of a player. He's already a good player. I mean, but like we've been talking over the last couple of weeks about these guys, like Jackson Blake got a 7 or 8 year deal, you know, and I know the money was a little bit lower. So you're buying potential. Frank Nazar gets this deal after like 55 or 6 games, I believe it was. I think it was 46 million, and Gretzky only made 46 million his whole career. And now I know it's like inflate, whatever, but it's jarring to see that after 56 games. And like, I'm not against it because anytime a player gets paid, I'm happy. Like, I don't even care if you're way overpaid. I'm always going to be happy for the player. Like, no matter what, I'm happy for the player. Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm just curious. Like, you're a vet. You're a guy who is now, you know, moved to the other side, and you were a well-respected player in your career. You were a letter in most places. Like, so you were a guy who needed to control locker rooms and this and that. Like, what do you make of that? And again, I don't even want to make this about Frank Nazar because I don't want to sound like we're cutting him down. Good for him. Like, that kid, I hope he becomes a superstar hockey player and he has a Hall of Fame fucking career. Like, that's what I hope for everybody. But what do you make of it just overall? Because it seems like the bridge deal, other than maybe for Marco Rossi, has gone by the wayside for every young, budding, you know, promising player in the National Hockey League.
Okay, so to answer your question in a roundabout way, I'm going to tell you my story so that you can then figure out where I stand on this. So I played my entry level. I played all 212 games. I didn't miss a single game in my entry level. Wow. And the last year of my entry level was a lockout year. So I only played 48. 48. I think I ended
48
up
games. Yeah, wow.
44 and 48.
Dude, you didn't miss a game your first 4 seasons. That's fucking crazy.
I played every single game. I come out of that season. I need a new contract. I don't get one until 2 nights before night 1. I miss all training camp. Glenn Sather's like, you think you're better than, he was just listening. You think you're better than this guy and this guy? You think you deserve this? No, I'm not giving you.
Was he saying that to you directly or to your agent?
Yeah, he would call me directly and be like,
he was calling you directly?
Yeah, he was old school, man.
That is fucking savage.
He would call my agent, and then my agent would call me being like, hey, Glenn probably is going to call you. Look out. And then sure enough, Glenn would call me, and he'd be like, I've been trying to get a hold of your agent. He didn't answer. And I was like, I just talked to him. He said he's waiting for your call. And he was like, all right, well, tell him to call me. Like, it was just such a game. Like, it was. So I missed all training camp. New York was in Banff at the time.
Oh, that's sick.
And so I'm training with the Badgers all through training camp. I signed I think it was like 4 or 5 nights before night 1 in Arizona.
And is he calling you all throughout training camp when you're not there?
Not every day, but you know, every once in a while. Like, he's in between periods in the preseason game in Edmonton. He's like, Derek Stepan's ruining his career, which, like, there's no real contract offered yet. Like,
he said that on TV.
No, just tactics. My agent's like, just offer us something. Let's just get the ball rolling. Like, we haven't even started.
Also, Derek, just for timeline, this is like, just so people listening know, this is going into the year you guys went to the Cup final, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
So
2013, 5
14. Nights before night one, he calls and he's like, and Subban was doing the same thing, by the way. PK was going through the same stuff. Subban signs 2 years at $3 million or something. 2.8, I think it was. 2 years at 2.8, bridge deal. Glenn calls me and says, "You think you're better than Subban? We called you and offered you that contract." And I was like, "Well, that's news to us. Like, I hadn't even known that you offered that yet." He's like, "All right, well, have your agent call me." So my agent calls me, he did it, like within like 4 hours, deal's done. 2-year deal. All right. So, all right, I get my 2-year deal. I'm happy. I get to go play, whatever. I finish my 2-year deal. I have to go to arbitration
at 3075 was the cap hit. At least that's what Cap Wages has.
Yep, that was right. So I go
3075 cap hit.
I play my 2 seasons, have 2 good seasons. I have to go to arbitration in Toronto that summer after my
2 best seasons the franchise has had in the last 100.
And is Glenn still the GM at this point, or did
so
Gort?
this summer Gortz took over?
Okay.
So I'm Gortz's first contract, and he's not going to give me he's not giving me $1 over what I'm worth. Like, there's no way. So we go, like, my agent, no contract conversation.
Who's your agent, by the way?
Matt Oates out of Chicago.
Okay.
So we're going through it, and I'm literally like flying to Toronto. I'm like, what is happening? Like, I'm everywhere, and I can't get one easy one. Like, I have to. So I'm in Toronto, and like the night before arbitration, my agent and Gortz get it. Like, they agree on the number, and then they come back to the room, and I'm like, let's sign this thing. My agent's like, no, there's like no trades and signing bonuses we got to get through, and we'll probably do it in the morning before arbitration. So I don't sleep. I wake up. We go through before the arbitration case starts. Gortz and my agent get it done. Like, whatever, we're happy. Gortz is happy. Like, it wasn't ugly. It was, every contract was cordial, but it took me 5 years. It took me 3 really good seasons to get a 2-year deal, a hard one. And then it took me 5 really good seasons to get my 6-year deal. And I fought for things like no trades. And 3 years into my deal, they traded me before my no trade kicked in. Or 2 years into my deal, they traded me before my no trade kicked in. So to answer your question, do I know what the
you don't have to, actually. You just answered our question.
Do I know what the landscape looks like nowadays? Definitely. I understand that agent or GMs, they get out ahead of this in these contracts. I think the Nazar contract is going to look great in 3 years when the cap moves up, and that everyone looks at it kind of differently than it used to be. But boy, do I like when guys have to earn them.
Yeah,
I had to, and that's just my opinion. There's some guys around the league that have earned them too. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that you can't do your entry level and sign a big ticket. That's not.
Yeah.
I'm not like old and stubborn. I'm just saying I like the idea of really having to earn the stripes a little bit.
And just to give context, if you're okay with me sharing, I mean, it's public information. You got that 6-year deal, $6.5 million cap hit. You had some nice signing bonuses baked in there, 39, million. Jeff Gorton being the general manager. So, and looking at it at that point, you had established yourself as a consistent 50+ point guy. And again,
first line on a cup final team and a conference.
I was just going to say 20 minutes a night as a forward. And like 55 points in 2014, that's probably 65 to 70 points now, with just there's more power plays, there's a higher scoring, goalies don't make saves anymore. I mean, there's a whole plethora of reasons, but inflation is a real thing in hockey. I mean, there is no doubt that you look at the way guys are scoring now. I mean, look at the playoffs. The playoffs, it's football scores in some games.
I think that year, Colby and Derek, obviously, you know your shit. Like, stats. It seems like you pay attention to like people's numbers and stuff. I think, didn't Zook lead the team in points that year with like 57? You were right at the top.
I can't remember in all my years in New York, I can't remember. I think Dubinsky one time, Gabrick one time, Nasher maybe one time got over 60 in my 7 years.
Yeah, like no one was like lighting it up. I mean, Gabrick had that 40-goal season, I think, right? But no one was like lighting it up point wise.
Yeah, it was. It just, you know what? You asked me. I'm not trying to sound like an old shriveled up.
No,
Jeller,
you're not.
I liked the way the game was played then. I don't like the power. Listen, I want the skill. I want to keep the skill. I'm not like Torts, or I don't want people to flip pucks over the net and stuff. I want to keep that all day long. I just think the flow of the game when you have 6 and 7 power plays on each side just kind of dips.
Yeah.
I like the way that it was 1 and 2 and 2 and 4, but people want to see scoring. So there's the power plays, and it's okay. Me personally, I liked it when there was more flow 5-on-5 and the games maybe were boring.
Yeah.
Well,
I say it on this show a lot, and a lot of our listeners get kind of pissed at me, but like I miss the days of 3-2 in the with 8 minutes, 9 minutes to go in the third period of a playoff game when every play everybody is on the edge of their seat. And now again, the skill is incredible, but like you see a lot of football scores. There's 7 and 8 goals being scored a night in the playoffs half the time. Mm-hmm. And while listen, it's great, it grows the game. Like I agree, like but I'm with you on that. Like I kind of miss when it got really tight, especially late in the year, and like there was just more of a like every inch of how you move the puck around the ice, the art form of that mattered more than it seems to now. But like, how do you argue with what these fucking guys can do? Like the skating and the stick handling and the ability to shoot the puck and like what these guys, it's ridiculous. The skill level's unbelievable.
Let's meet your viewers in the middle, and regular season, we can have the power play parade. But when the playoffs come, let's put the whistles away.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It out. That's you know what? I'm good with everything. The playoffs. I want to see. I mean, you look at some of the best playoff games this last year, and it's the ones where there wasn't many power plays, and these two teams were at each other and they're going at each other.
I agree.
I like that, and I know all people don't agree with that, and that's okay. But that's what I like. That's what I enjoy watching, and I'll meet you in the middle. Regular season, you can do whatever you want. When it comes playoff time, refs, let's keep it down to 1, 2,
tackle
3.
football. We like it.
I was just gonna say it's funny too, though, like because the conversation's always like the Hurricanes and the Rangers. Like if I keep the game at 5-on-5, the Hurricanes are the best team in the NHL. You keep the game at 5-on-5, the Rangers are the worst. When you mix it the way it is, the Rangers beat the Hurricanes in 7 games. Like that's just how it goes. I
was a part of one of those.
Yeah.
On the opposite side.
Yeah.
I just listen. I'm not sitting here saying that there should be blatant penalties missed, and if there's a night where a team gets out of control, and send them to the box all night long. Like it should be that way. But I'm just saying there's some the ones that you call in the regular season that are on the hand in the neutral zone that they don't really. Yeah, it's probably a hook, but it's in the neutral zone. We can like nothing really happened from it. Let's let those ones ride.
Yeah,
but I mean, I could talk.
It's a good rant. It's a good rant. I got like 3 or 4 questions. One like kind of ties into the other. And again, like so appreciative of your time. Seriously, this is so cool to have you on here. One that I got to ask you about. You've mentioned Ryan Callahan a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's been talked about the last couple of years, the Tkachuk for Huberdeau trade and what Florida did to shake up their organization and how it's worked out so well. You guys did that or tried that. The captain for captain, Callahan for St. Louis. I remember walking the high school hallway when I found out about that trade. Like you were tight to Cali. You're a big hockey fan. You must have loved Marty St. Louis. I've heard you talk about him being like your favorite line mate. Yep. What was going through your mind when that trade was made, though?
I was like, thank God Ryan Callahan is no longer sitting next to me. He is yelling at me all the time. He bullies me. We always joke, like we were just talking, like I went out to the alum game last year, and Callie was there, and it's been a while since we got like face-to-face time and hanging out. And we have this good friendship that we can joke about stuff like that. And I was like, remember in 2014 when we were in oh yeah, that's right. You weren't there. we can rib each other up like that. But I will tell you this, when the trade happened, not knowing Marty, and I didn't know anything about Marty. I knew he was a heck of a player. I was stunned. I was in the locker room. I didn't know what to do. Larry came up to me and said, "What about the trade?" And I kind of had to like brush him off. And I had to apologize to Larry afterwards. I was like, "Larry, I didn't even know I didn't know what was going on." Like,
and Larry Brooks you're talking about, right?
Yeah. My brain couldn't process what had happened because Ryan was a big part of our group.
Yeah.
He was a captain and he was a massive part of the group. I understand what we got for him, and I think Tampa understood what they got with Ryan. It just was a very weird, unique situation. And it was hard to see him go. You know, we had some guys that were real close in that group that we were pretty tight, and it was hard to see him go. And then Marty comes in, and this isn't a shot at Callie. You understand how hard it would be to get Marty out of Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be just as hard to get Callie out of New York. So you understand why it happened. And, you know, Marty was, you know, a Hall of Famer. He is a Hall of Famer, and he's an incredible hockey mind, and he fit into our group seamlessly. So it was a weird part of the business that you don't ever expect. And it was a wild one.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that when, you know, I was again, like a senior in high school. It was like, oh my God, we got Marty St. Louis. Like, holy fuck, this is sick. Yeah. I say we. I say we. I'm not afraid to say it. What do you think about that when the Ranger? I guess it's every fan that says we for the most part.
I would want it any other way.
Yeah, exactly. So shut up, Colby. Well, so this is like my two-parter, and you know what? I'm actually gonna make it like a three-parter kind of because Colby and I joked about it. I said, and I was like half kidding but half serious. This year in the Cup final, when Edmonton tied the series at 2 against Florida, I said there's more pressure on home ice in Game 5 when the series is tied at 2 versus when the home team is down 3-1. And I've known that because I'm a Ranger fan, and they were always better when they were down 3-1 than when it was tied 2-2. So I'm going to make that into a two-part question, and Colby's not even like paying attention to me right now. He's just tuning me out. But which 3-1 comeback was more fun for you? And again, like, you know, speaking about Marty St. Louis, that Pittsburgh 3-1 comeback is all right around, you know, the death of his mother, obviously, which is super sad. But then that 3-1 comeback against Washington also the year after, where you score the Game 7 goal. I mean, both incredibly different rides, but wild 3-1 comebacks.
So to answer your first question, it's never easy to play in the playoffs. You're down 3-1, you're down 2, you're tied 2-2. It doesn't matter. The momentum swings are unpredictable, and sometimes there's no reason. You could win, you could lose the first 2 games, win the next 2 games, and feel like you are going to steamroll them in Game 5. And the first shift in Game 5, something happens, and all of a sudden now you feel like you're behind the 8 ball, and then the series is over. You close your eyes and you lost 2 in a row, and you don't even know what happened. So it's never easy. It doesn't matter the series. It's all about controlling momentums. Sometimes they're out of control. Sometimes, as veteran teams and teams that understand it and been around it, that's why you see teams that make it deep. They make it deep again because they understand, hey, it's okay. We're not going to lose our head. Coaches aren't going to flip the entire lines because we lost Game 1. They, oh, hey, we're going to get the momentum back. So momentum is more important than the actual series score. The best 3-1 series comeback, boy, I don't know. I mean, wouldn't you be the one that wanted
Game 7? Yeah.
So it's probably wash for me. I think the Pittsburgh one was really hard. I wouldn't really say we had, you know, when you go through a playoff series, you have a lot of fun. It was not that Marty made it that way. It just was, there was another layer to it. It was deeper, and it was just heavier. So I'd probably pick the wash one. Yeah.
I mean, it was, so sick. Like, he scored a Game 7 overtime fucking winning goal.
We talk about it when we were kids on the pond, that you're Game 7 overtime. I got to live it. I mean, come on. Not many guys get to say that. I mean, there's only a handful that say that they got to do something like that. So, and at MSG.
Can't beat it. My next one, this one is kind of like I want to hear the story, but it's also because it happens like, you know, it's a typical thing in the NHL. Like I heard Gensel talking about Kachuk's like cheap shot on him this year in the playoffs on Kevin Strick. When Brandon Prust, who was your friend, breaks your jaw.
Yep.
And you guys had that exchange in the handshake line at the series end. I think you missed a game or 2. He got suspended for 2 games. Like, what are those conversations like after someone
Yeah.
like does something like it was it's a bad hit.
He's another guy that was at the alum game that him and Callie kept pulling up the video and breaking it down. Like, he barely touched your step. Like, dive a little bit more. Like, it's like Prusty's one of my good buddies. I understand Prusty's role. Do I feel like I needed to be the target of his role? Probably not. And I tell him that all the time, but I was the target of his role, and such is life. I don't think he thought he was going to break my jaw. I thought I think he thought he was just going to give me a little pop and get a little penalty and stir the pot. He was the first guy to text me when I woke up from my surgery. He was right on it right away. Like, hey, buddy, are you okay? Obviously didn't mean to. And the cool thing about Prusty is, sure, anyone that cheap shots a guy can text a guy afterwards. That's easy to do, right? The next year in training camp, I broke my leg in the skate test, and I got off the ice. And the first text I got from was Prusty. Hey, I heard something happened. You all right? So, to his credit, I think he was doing his job, and sometimes his wires get crossed, and I was in the crosshairs, and he got me, and it broke my jaw. And I think he felt terrible about it, but he also knew that this is the way it works. And he also understood that I knew that, but he does care about me. So, yeah. When he gave me a hug, like, I mean, we had been talking. It wasn't like that was the first time we talked in the handshake line. Like, he had been texting me being like, are you all right? And I said, yeah, I'm good. We'll chat after the series. And he was like, sounds good, buddy. So, yeah, it was what it was. But the best part is you go back and Callie just, he's relentless, this guy. He just, every angle of that hit. And he's like, I think he got you in the shoulder, Steph.
We've tried to get him to come on the show a couple times, but he doesn't really do podcasts, and he kind of stays off.
Callahan?
He doesn't do it. He doesn't do a lot of that.
I'll make him come on for you boys. How about that?
I've asked him, and he's cool about it, but and some guys are like that. Like, they're just like, you know what? Like, I don't really want to do it. And it's like, you know what? How can you not respect someone for just telling you like it is? Like, I don't really want to come on your show. It's like, okay, like it's better than just being like, oh yeah, we'll do it. Like, I can do it in a couple of weeks, and then like ghosting or something like that. You know what I mean? So
he needs to do it. He needs to do it. He needs to start doing it.
Colby, we have an advantage. Derek's a fan of mine. So
see?
I can't. We're gonna cut that. This isn't a live episode. Normally, I said we're live.
My brother-in-law is gonna be like, "Holy fuck, that's the sickest thing ever."
We're gonna have to cut that. But look, you've been more than generous with your time. You know, we appreciate it. It's fun walking down memory lane. Some of the names you threw out. When you talk to Smitty, tell him I said hello. We'll have to get him on the show. I can't believe I've never thought about that before, but
he's an awesome guy. We had some good times. You know, listen, we played together in Wisconsin, and then we played together in New York, and then we, at the very end of our careers, we got to play together and bag skate together.
I was just gonna say, you were in the bag crew at that point.
It was good man. He's a good man. I'm so happy for him, and Dean's gonna love him.
We'd love to check in with you during the year, Derek, if you're like around during the season. You know,
for sure.
Have you on here live.
I do have a couple of trips lined up to New York this year. Like I said, it's the 100 year, so they're doing. There's probably 2 or 3 that I hope to be out for with work dependent, but yeah, I would love to. You guys line up another one, and we can. This time works great for me. Kids are down,
but that's why we do it. At this time
we're live 9 a.m. every day during the season, so I don't know if that'll work.
But in the summer, we have to do 8.
Kids are at school. Drop off at 8:15. So you want to pull me on and talk about a game? Just give me a heads up. Like, be like, hey, let's do this week, and so I can watch the game, so I don't look like an idiot up here.
Yeah, we'll make that happen 100%.
Don't worry, nobody looks dumber than Johnny every day. So
are we gonna do the AHL games? Because I'll be down in Iowa quite a bit this year. We want to do an AHL series.
If you got a prospect that you want to talk about,
survival league, man, that is you're gonna get a nice crash course in the jungle. You'll have to report back on the old survival league down in the American.
I did a few this year, and this is what I will tell you is, what I've learned is there's players that are elite that they have to continue to push to be elite, right? There's guys that are in the NHL that have to continue to push to stay in the NHL. And then there's these AHL guys, and these guys, they grind, man. Like I go down there this year and I can't believe how long some of these kids are on the ice for, and good for them. Like they stay out there and shoot pucks and work on their one time. There's no way you can hit a clean one timer with the amount of snow that is on the ice. And these kids are just pounding away on these pucks.
It's hard to hit a clean one-timer in a game too, when you got 4 guys trying to decapitate you on every shift, and then your teammates trying to decapitate you in practice every day. So it's a survival league. Good for Marco Rossi. I've talked about on this show, like speaking of Minnesota and your job now, like it would have been so easy for him to just say, fuck it, go back to Europe, be done with the American League. But that guy, he worked his way through some real ups and downs through the American League and coming into the NHL and going back. And like, I give him a lot of credit the way like, he had to do it the hard way so far. He has.
So I started working 2 years ago. This would be my 3rd year with the organization. My first year, I was kind of internship type thing. I followed Billy around a little bit at the home games, and I did a couple trips down to Iowa, 2 trips down to Iowa, a pro scouting trip, and a development trip. And I drove to St. Cloud. It's an hour drive for me to watch a St. Cloud, Duluth Bulldog game. And then I went to a pro trip right at Christmas time and got 2 games, and I was out. You talk about a guy that has proven me wrong every step of the way is Marco Rossi.
Yeah,
not proving me wrong. Not that I doubted him. It's more so just like every time I watch him, I just get more impressed with.
Yeah.
Finds ways to do it.
Yep.
Ways to do it. This guy scored 20 goals. Look at where he scored them from. Most of them. Top of the paint. This kid goes right to the top of the crease. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Like I said, I remember him coming into the league, and I was working in Chicago at the time, and we had this kid in Chicago, Lucas Reichel.
Yeah.
And they were both kind of like these shiny new toys, and like, one kid was German, one kid was from Austria. They were kind of undersized guys, and Rossi like gets a little cup of coffee, see you later, back for 60 games, gets 20, back to the American for, he played over 100 games in that league, and he just did it. So I give him a lot of credit. I was happy he got his contract. He's still got to continue to show he wants that Matt Boldy contract. He's not quite there. But the last thing I will say to you, I'm going to give you a homework assignment. Next time you see Chris Kelleher, I want you to ask him about his complicated relationship with my co-host, Johnny Lazarus, because they have a very complicated relationship. And I will just leave it there. And the next time you come on, or we'll get a group text, we'll connect all those dots together. But our audience knows about this.
Is the real question. I can't wait.
Our audience knows about this complicated relationship. We've aired this all out live. We've had Chris on the show. We've relived the call out in Las Vegas.
You gotta tell him
all of it. No, we're just gonna let.
No, I want to hear Kel's side. You guys
exactly
buttered me up with how good I was in New York. I don't want to hear your side.
Yeah,
I want to hear Kel's side.
They have a complicated relationship, and we will leave it with that. We will say goodnight to you. We appreciate your time. Great getting to talk to you and hearing a little bit about your stories and. Tell you what, our producer is going to have plenty of good shit to clip and put on social media because he is the master. So if you have Twitter, be ready for a lot of mentions because it's coming here in the next few days.
That's the one thing I had it and I got rid of it. It's the best thing I've ever done is get rid of social media. Oh, it's beautiful.
No Instagram?
No, I do that Apple News. That's it. That is it. That is my junk. It's on your phone. It's on the phone. You can follow his junk.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your time, man. Have a great end of summer here, and we will check in during the season, especially after you talk to Kels.
We'll find out. We'll get
all right.
Appreciate it.
See you, fellas.
That was fucking awesome. So I'm like all giddy. You talk.
Jesus Christ. Vic, we have one or two more orders of business to get to. That was a long interview. We went over an hour with him.
That was the most fun interview I think we've done on this show. That's the most fun I've had doing this show.
Yeah, well, it didn't really feel like an interview. You know what I mean? We were really just having a conversation. So why don't you talk about our friends at Out West, and we'll give Tyson Barrie a little bit of love, and you'll give everybody a bad 365 pick, and we'll say goodnight for the week.
Yep. So just want to give a quick word from our sponsor, Out West. From early morning skates to late night league games, Out West polos are built to keep up with lightweight, breathable, and made to move fabric. They're clean, sharp, and built for guys who don't want to wear the same thing as everyone else. So head to outwest.us and use code Cuppa, CUPPA, in all caps for 15% off of your order. Colby, you want to talk about Tyson Barrie?
Yeah, listen.
He's had his own beer, by the way. I tried it at All-Star. It's pretty good.
Great career. Was a hell of a player, is a hell of a player, but one of the funniest motherfuckers you will ever be in a locker room with. To this day, I don't think I've ever laughed harder at a wedding than the speech he gave at whose wedding was it? Colin Wilson's wedding. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I was crying my eyes out laughing. We'll have to get him on this show. I will ask him if he will come on at some point. But kudos to him for a great career. Again, just an all world guy, and it's just so fucking funny. So we'll get him on here and let him start airing some stuff out and get our audience laughing during the year. So
is he a guy that you think will do like media and stuff, or kind of just step away for a little bit and make his way back?
Listen, maybe he'd be great at it because he's got such a natural personality. Like, he could be funny on the air without trying to be funny, right? Not a lot of guys can do that. So kudos to him for a hell of a run. Not bad for Tyson Barrie, a kid who didn't need hockey to have a good life and still worked his ass off and, had an unbelievably high-end career. So
yeah. All right, well, let's get into Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. So download the app and get in on the game. You must be 19 or older. If you listened to our show last week with Calvin Pickard, you know what this is kind of based on. But the Oilers at plus 170 to win the Pacific Division. They haven't won their division since 1987. So look for Edmonton to win the Pacific this year. Obviously, they're going to go up against the Golden Knights, the LA Kings. Those are probably the two teams that are the biggest threat. Anaheim sneaky this year. Who knows? Don't think Vancouver will push for that spot. But the Flames might be a sleepy pick too. But yeah, Edmonton to win the division this year at plus 170. The rest is yours, Colby. Finish up.
Well, that's what we got for this week. September. Next episode will be in September. That's crazy. So have a good rest of your week. We are.
I do have a couple shout outs actually.
We are doing this episode on August 25th at 9:43 p.m. We'll put this out Wednesday, August 27th at 9 a.m. on YouTube, everywhere you can get it. We will be back after Labor Day, which I think is Monday, obviously, and then getting closer and closer to hopefully being back live together. Still no full conclusion on that matter, but that's obviously the hope. Give your shout outs, and then you're going to have to say goodnight to everybody and goodbye to everybody.
I will. I got two shouts I got to give. First one is to Max Feinberg, Jeff Noss, and Matt Martin. I just worked at Matt Martin camp this past week, so shout out to Matt and the New York Islanders as well. Great week on the ice with a lot of current and former Islander players. Cal Clutterbuck was there. He was on the ice with us a little bit. Casey Cizikas was out there with us. Stefan Rosner, I spent the whole week with, who's a friend of the show, but an unbelievable camp for youth hockey on Long Island. Believe it or not, Colby, I was in charge of an ice sheet for 4 hours for kids from 6 to 14 for an entire week, coming up with fun drills and teaching kids how to play. So it was a great time. I think 6 or 7 summer doing it. It's been 10 summers of the Matt Martin camp. So just shout out to those guys for an awesome time. And then this coming weekend, charity event called Hockey Helps. It's a marathon, 24 hours straight of playing hockey. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, Larry Sprung, is the one who kind of introduced me to the charity. It's the 21st anniversary of the death of his brother-in-law, Keith. So it's all for suicide prevention. I played in it last year. I won't be able to do it this year because I'm going to Florida for my grandpa's 95th birthday, but just an unbelievable event at Dix Hills Ice Arena. So if you're on Long Island looking to talk hockey, hang out at the rink, I believe it's Sunday. If you are interested, you can reach out to me. I'll let you know the specific details about the event, but a great thing, a great impact, and everything is donated for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So just a great cause. So if you're on Long Island this weekend, nothing to do, go check it out. So that's all I got. I guess with that, everyone have a great rest of your week. We don't know who our guests will be next week yet, but I'm sure we'll have someone good. And yeah, we're into the fall. It's September the next time you hear from us. So what?
It's not fall yet.
Once September hits, it's fall. Next time they hear from us, it's fall.
Yeah, debatable, but okay.
You're gonna sit here and say September 5th is the summer?
Yeah, I like to stretch summer.
Kids are back in school.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, everybody, enjoy your week. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Have fun. Don't drink and drive. We'll see everybody the following week. Have a good one.